Shopping is hard, right? But I found a better way. Stitch Fix online personal styling makes it easy. I just give my stylist my size, style, and budget preferences. I order boxes when I want and how I want. No subscription required. And he sends just for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations and styling tips. I keep what works and send back the rest. It's so easy. Make style easy. Get started today at stitchfix.com/Spotify. That's stitchfix.com/Spotify.
Hey guys, I found the only gift that Dad wants this Father's Day. Goldbelly. Goldbelly ships the most iconic foods from the best restaurants across the country straight to his door for free. Let him relax and enjoy award-winning barbecue from Texas, epic deep dish pizza from Chicago, or colossal pastrami sandwiches from New York. Make Dad feel like an absolute legend this Father's Day and go to goldbelly.com to get 20% off your first order with promo code DAD. That's goldbelly.com, code DAD.
This podcast contains adult themes and language, and some of the things that we discuss may be disturbing to some listeners. In this podcast, we discuss sexual assault, torture, race, and murder. Listener discretion is advised. Please take care of yourself.
Welcome to Fruitloops, Buiti Binafi, and Bienvenidos Bitches. Thank you so much for listening. Fruitloops is a true crime, history, and comedy podcast that delves into the often overlooked stories of serial killers of color and, more importantly, the victims. We take deep dives into the lives and crimes of these killers worldwide, while also examining the history, culture, and social factors that may have influenced their actions. And the reason that we cover these crimes is because they often go unnoticed by the public. And why is that? Because in the simplest of terms, the news is racist. Allegedly.
And we are Wendy and Beth. She's Wendy, a Black Latinx woman, and I'm Beth, and I just happen to be white. That's just a little piece of who we are. Another piece is that although we are both fascinated by true crime, really fascinated by true crime, and we know a lot about it, keep in mind that we are not journalists, investigators, or psychologists, and the opinions expressed in this podcast are just that, our opinions.
Oh, right. And who are we talking about today, friend?
Well, today is our episode 254 about Howell Emanuel Donaldson III.
That's a hell of a name. I mean,
it is. It is a hell of a name.
And that's the kind of name you expect really great things.
Yeah, I mean, like Thurston
like
Howell,
parents,
the third,
right?
You know,
right? The third.
The
Do you
third,
imagine? Can you imagine how reckless I would be if I had
you
the
were a
third? Wendy the third? I'd be unstoppable.
Anyway, Howell Donaldson III shot 4 people while they were walking alone at night in a Tampa, Florida neighborhood in separate incidents over the course of several weeks in October and November of 2017.
All right. Well, before we get into the case, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, I suppose.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean,
I'm above
you're
the
alive.
dirt, so
yes,
yeah.
I hear you breathing. So that's good.
Yeah, so that's good. Yeah.
Winning!
It's just rough. It's just been rough.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it stops being rough soon.
Yes. I hope the same for you, friend. I don't want my friend Beth to be stressed out. It's just not right. It's not right. I won't stand for it.
I agree. It's not right.
No. This woman needs to be sitting on the most plush of couches with somebody with a fan next to her, feeding her things, and with a screen in front of her so she can enjoy all of her favorite things. That's my dream for you.
Or a massage. That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. I hope you get that too. Because it's Mother's... Listen, it's Mother's Day this weekend.
Yeah.
And all I want is for the people who came out of me and that old whitey who's come inside me to leave me alone.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
that's
just
all
leave
I want.
Me alone.
Just,
Peace and quiet.
I want to.
Yeah.
I'm in bathroom studios right now. It's pretty comfy. I got a chair. I would like to just sit in here with my laptop and phone and a
Be
gummy
left alone. Yeah.
and just laugh my ass off at ridiculous videos and programs all day.
Right. Yeah.
All day.
All day.
All day. And then go to sleep early. Hello. Woo!
Well, I hope that comes true for you.
Thank you, friend. Yeah, and to all the mothers out there, this weekend is Mother's Day weekend, and
This
just
will
happy.
air like quite a few weeks afterwards. So
It will.
happy Mother's Day a few weeks ago, everybody.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to everybody. And,
Yeah.
you know, there's lots of ways to mother. You know, there's biological moms. Some of us have chosen moms.
Yep.
And then some of us are mothering our own inner children. But happy
Yep.
Mother's Day to all.
All of the mothers out there.
That's
Yeah.
right. So now let's get into some listener letters.
Okay.
And I believe there's a sound effect for that.
It's
if you'll
not a
just give me-
sound effect. It's real angels.
What am I talking about? Get me out of here.
Well, hello,
You're right.
angels. Thank you for that bag.
Oh, yeah, I love it every time. What's in that bag, Beth?
Well, I wanted to say thank you to FeedSpot
Yeah.
because Fruitloops Serial Killers of Color was selected by FeedSpot as one of the top 90 crime podcasts on the web.
Yeah.
So thank you to FeedSpot. We are honored.
Thank you, FeedSpot. We appreciate it so much. And we will have the link to FeedSpot, I think, in the show notes. And there's lots of other true crime podcasts out there, not just us. And you should check it out and see what else is there that you might enjoy.
Right. And I also wanted to say thank you to Ms. Perez 559 for your 5-star review.
Oh, Miss Perez, what are you doing? Hey, girl.
Thank you.
All right. Also, I just wanted to say thank you to Beth Lynn. And she sent us the most delicious, actually multiple, not just one message. It was a cornucopia of messages with suggestions and information about a case that is on our list to cover that we'll be talking about very soon.
Nice.
And Beth Lynn is involved in the criminal legal system.
Oh, wow.
And works with incarcerated women and just had the kindest words to say. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Beslin because the information Beslin shared about this particular case we'll be covering is information we might not have had in other places. And so we're just really grateful for our fruity community. Shout out to everybody inside, outside of the criminal legal system and doing the fight. And so for Beslin, who was so generous with her experience and her knowledge, we got to thank you, Toon. And I hope you like it. Okay. Beslin, and keep on listening. Remember Wendy is on IG, so keep DMing. So Beslin, did you recognize the tune?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Very good.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. We hope you like it, and we just thank you for being part of our community
Yeah.
and helping with getting it right. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And if you have any questions or comments, please send them to fruitloopspod@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 602-935-6294. And we may feature it on a future episode, but if you don't want us to, just let us know and we won't.
It's that simple. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get into the story when we come back.
Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. But luckily, there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku. And it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
And we're back.
Hello.
Miranda's Beth, who is our subject today?
Our subject today is Howell Emanuel Donaldson III, who shot 4 people in the Tampa, Florida neighborhood of Seminole Heights in October and November of 2017.
All right, so we're moving on to the love and light section of our show, where we say rest and power to the victims whose lives were cut short, and love and light to their loved ones and communities left in the wake of this crime. The victims' names are Benjamin Mitchell, 22 years old when he died, Monica Hoffa, 32 years old when she was killed, Anthony Naiboa, 20 years old, and Ronald Felton, 60 years old. Now, let's get into the setting. Take us there, Beth.
Well, the setting is Tampa, Florida, a city on the Gulf Coast side of Florida located on the north shore of Tampa Bay. Long before European colonization, the area was home to the Tocobaga and the Calusa peoples, who established mound-building societies and thrived on fishing and trade.
I mean, I know where Tampa is on the map. Makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
And the arrival of Spanish explorers in the 16th century marked the beginning of a devastating period for these indigenous groups, who were decimated by disease, violence, and displacement.
And by the 18th and 19th centuries, conflicts with European settlers and rival tribes led groups of Muskogee people from Georgia and Alabama to migrate into Florida during the 1700s. These refugees, alongside other displaced Native American groups and Black people fleeing slavery, settled throughout the Florida peninsula, including the Tampa Bay area, and collectively became known as the Seminole people.
In 1817, tensions between the Seminoles and white settlers eventually erupted into the first of 3 conflicts known as the Seminole Wars. By the way, I personally, when I was looking into this case, was like, I need to find out more about these Seminole Wars. I only vaguely remember it from history class.
Yeah.
But now,
it's like a footnote in history.
Yeah, with my Fruitloops knowledge, I think that if I started studying it, I might think of it a little bit differently than I would have as a younger kid. And I just want to experience that content, that history. And so I'm dying to begin learning more. But anyway, during the First War, future U.S. President, not Wendy's favorite, Andrew Jackson, invaded Spanish-controlled Florida, attacking key locations and forcing the Seminoles further south.
Under Spanish rule, Florida had a somewhat more flexible system of slavery, aka bondage, occasionally allowing enslaved people to gain their freedom. However, once Florida became a U.S. territory in 1821, American-style chattel slavery took hold in rural areas around Tampa.
Following the Indian Removal Act of 1830, the U.S. government attempted to relocate the Seminoles to present-day Oklahoma, sparking the Second Seminole War. Like, couldn't you have just left them alone? And then we would get no war.
Right.
The black Seminoles played a particularly significant role in resisting U.S. efforts during these conflicts.
By May 8, 1858, when the United States officially ended the Third Seminole War, over 3,000 Seminoles had been forcibly relocated west of the Mississippi River. Only around 200 to 300 remained in Florida, living in seclusion within the swamps.
They're still there, though, so all is not lost. But after the Civil War, freed Black people began forming communities in Tampa, including the Scrub and West Tampa. Central Avenue emerged as a hub for Black-owned businesses, music, and community life during the early to mid-20th century. These neighborhoods became vibrant centers of Black life and culture despite the increasing oppression of segregation and, there he is, Jim Crow laws.
Yeah, and Florida was pretty bad.
Yeah. Hey, watch out for Florida, Jim Crow.
Florida enacted 19 Jim Crow segregation laws between 1865 and 1967.
Wow.
And also imposed some of the harshest penalties on record. And I don't remember if I told you, but my mom lived in Florida when she was a kid.
Oh.
And she told me she remembered the segregation.
Really?
And yeah.
That's gotta fuck up any kid,
Anybody,
no matter what color you are. Like, this is weird. Y'all are weird.
Yeah.
But then the conditioning that happens to make you believe that this is normal, none of it makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine why. Yes, it fucked your mom up. It fucked everybody
up. Yeah. And in Florida, Black or white people who entered a railroad car reserved for the other race could be sentenced to the pillory or whipped 39 times or both.
Hey, can I ask a question?
What's the pillory?
Yeah.
A pillory is a wooden framework with holes for it's like stocks, putting your head and hands in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ew,
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
For
wow.
being in the wrong car.
In the wrong railroad car. That's the railroads didn't, they weren't there until like the 1800s, late 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fucking nuts.
It's great. Yeah, I'm just trying to get to transportation. I don't want any problems. But the pillory?
Yeah.
Okay, that's crazy. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. So something else Florida did was reward informers for reporting cases of miscegenation, and they would receive half of the $1,000 fine.
Are you kidding me? Wow. So making it lucrative to snitch on your fellow citizens.
Texas
is doing that with the abortion bill.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's not new. And this is why history is important, because we've seen this before. We should do something about it.
Yeah.
Throughout the Civil Rights era, Tampa's Black residents played a significant role in challenging segregation. Activists, churches, and local chapters of the NAACP organized protests, sit-ins, and legal challenges. And while victories were achieved, resistance to desegregation remained strong.
Meanwhile, the city's Black communities suffered under urban renewal policies in the 50s and 60s. Entire neighborhoods, including the Scrub and much of Central Avenue, were razed to make way for highways and redevelopment projects, displacing thousands of residents and erasing important cultural landmarks.
If anybody but the government came in and took your home and just built something over it, like,
not
you would
just
be like,
your home, but your whole community.
Yeah, like that's theft. And I thought it was illegal, but I guess it depends on who you are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It depends.
Like, remember on that land that, was stolen from indigenous people, or those people who were stolen from that one continent and then brought over to the other one?
Yeah.
Theft. It's just, anyway, true crime. So in recent decades, efforts have been made to preserve and honor Tampa's Native American and Black legacies. Institutions like Tampa Bay History Center, as well as grassroots efforts, have worked to commemorate historic neighborhoods, rediscovered Black cemeteries like Zion Cemetery, and educate the public through initiatives like the Tampa Black Heritage Trail. Super cool.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Seminole Heights, where the crimes took place, is a historic neighborhood in Tampa, known for its early 20th century craftsman-style bungalows, which is my favorite house. That's my favorite style of house.
Tell me why you love it.
I don't know.
Also, lick your lips. Okay.
They just look cozy to me. They're usually kind of small. They can be big, but I just love them. I don't know. Don't know what to tell you.
Well, I mean, you have very good taste, and so that's why I was wondering why.
Why?
So you can educate us. Give us the tea on what
So
is good taste.
style bungalow. I don't know if it's good taste or not.
Maybe a movie that we could. I mean,
Oh, do you remember Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
yeah.
Her mom's house. That's a
Oh.
Craftsman bungalow. They're cute.
Okay. Very cute and charming.
Charming.
Not too like boastful.
No.
Just a nice, lovely,
Nice
cozy
little
house.
cozy
I
house,
get it.
yeah.
I get it.
Okay.
Okay. Proceed.
So it's known for the Craftsman-style bungalows, canopies of mature trees, and a vibrant bohemian character. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, like a character in a movie. Like,
Yeah.
you can picture it for sure.
Yeah.
So originally developed along a streetcar line in the early 1900s, Seminole Heights has preserved much of its vintage charm while becoming a thriving community for artists and families and small business owners. It sounds great.
Yeah, it does. Known for its diversity, low crime rate, and walkability, the neighborhood offers a welcoming and accessible environment. Its location just north of downtown Tampa provides convenient city access while retaining a relaxed, close-knit feel. So it's not a place you would expect these crimes to take place.
Right. Yeah. I think I saw like drone footage of somebody driving through the town or something. And it just, trees. It looked like paradise.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are now going to get into the early life of Howell Emanuel Donaldson III. So he was known as Trey, and he was born on January 26th, 1993 in Charlotte, North Carolina, to Howell Jr. and Rosita Donaldson, a devout Christian couple devoted to charity. And they moved to Tampa, Florida in 1995, where Trey grew up with his older sister and younger brother in a religious middle-class household.
In 1997, Trey's father, Howell Jr., was arrested for domestic violence. A restraining order followed, along with court-ordered counseling and a temporary loss of custody of his children. Though divorce proceedings began, Rosita dropped the charges and they reconciled later that year.
So that's kind of what happened to my family.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my parents, they got a full-blown divorce and got back
And
together.
then they got back together, yeah.
Later, yeah, but I just thought that was an interesting, that there was this domestic
This big
violence,
blow
and then they
up,
split.
and then they
yeah,
split.
and then they reconciled. And this theme, we'll get into it in our takes, but part of me thinks that is related to their religious beliefs, because divorce is shunned in religious settings. So
Yeah.
in 2002, the couple opened a cosmetology school and became active in Without Walls International Church, which later faced some scandals over finances and leadership. And questions arose about lavish spending, and this is not uncommon in Christian evangelical circles either.
Yeah.
This prosperity gospel, the Joel Osteens of the world, not saying
Right.
he's a bad guy or anything, but they have
I
a
am.
lot of bread. And our pastor in Georgia had a helicopter. I mean, it's
Oh
just
my God.
great. It's just great.
That's nuts,
There's
yeah.
a lot of money in saving souls. And so sometimes they do end up getting into trouble. And so with this particular church that the Donaldsons went to, questions arose about lavish spending, and the co-founder of their church and senior pastor, Paula White, who now is a spiritual advisor to Trump, divorced her husband. So that was a scandal.
That was a scandal.
And
yeah.
then the church declared bankruptcy in 2014. So
Sounds like a messy-ass house.
very, very messy. Let me tell you something about my Lord Jesus Christ. The Bible is very messy. Christians are very messy. Human beings are very messy.
True.
Period. Right? Thank you.
So in 2008, the Donaldsons also filed for bankruptcy, and they reported multiple foreclosures on rental properties. I think they had 5 rental properties.
Wow.
Over 50 creditors, and
Uh-oh.
2 of their properties were repossessed and a vehicle was repossessed. So some trauma there with finances.
Yeah.
One of the rental homes was a small house near where the killings occurred.
I'm glad you mentioned rental trauma, which is a thing, I'm sure, because boy, I feel like I'm experiencing it right now with my landlord. But the trauma of financial trauma, because he was probably a young person at this point, and even though our parents do everything they can to try to keep us from these kinds of struggles and concerns, kids see it. And absorb it and feel it.
Yeah, because even if you pretend like everything's fine, my parents never talked about finances, never.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was something that I think because they both grew up poor and they remembered their parents talking about finances and they didn't like it. So they never talked about finances, but they were stressed out. So, I mean, you're going to get it one way or another.
Yeah, yeah. And I think how you handle it is what's important. I've been obsessed with Cree Summer. I don't know if you remember Cree Summer. She was on A Different World. She was the voice of the black girl in Rugrats. She is the librarian on Abbott Elementary.
Oh, yeah.
She's black famous, and she's been on our screens for a very long time. And she was talking about she grew up when there was a problem, like with money or something. Her dad would just rub his hands together. Ooh, how can we solve this? And that attitude of not stressing was something she really found comfort in. And she recognized when she sees other partners in her life, when there's a problem with like money and they're like, oh no, what are we going to do? Oh no.
Yeah, that's me.
And she is kind of repulsed by it. And I just was...
Well, it is really stressful.
It's so stressful.
Yeah.
But I love the idea, and I'm not this person, but I love the idea of a problem and seeing it and
seeing it as an opportunity to fix it.
I can't wait to fix this problem. Yeah.
Boy, that would be awesome if I had that.
I know. But in 2008, Beth, that was when the economy was really fucked up.
Oh, that's right.
Really fucked up.
I forgot about that.
George Bush was on his way out. Obama was on his way in. We were in the stupid ass...
it's the recession.
It's the recession.
The recession started,
Yeah, and people couldn't get jobs.
Yep.
I mean, it was a mess. So Trey was in high school. He was excelling academically and athletically, playing AAU basketball. That's the expensive one where you have to travel all over the place and your parents' weekends are fucked. So anyway, he played AAU basketball, and I think he was so dedicated to the sport that he transferred schools to pursue his dream of becoming a star athlete. But despite his efforts, because it's hard
yeah,
industry
you gotta
to
be
get
really
into,
good.
you have to be the best of the best of the best,
Right.
the top 1%, a snowflake, basically.
Yeah.
He wasn't recruited and received no athletic scholarships.
He graduated from Alonso High School in 2011. Still holding on to his dream of being part of the sports world, Trey enrolled in St. John's University, a Catholic school in Queens, New York, with a reputation as a good basketball school. In August 2011, Donaldson's parents and little brother helped him move to Queens.
He made the St. John's men's basketball team as a walk-on athlete in 2011 to 2012. And for those who don't know, because I didn't know, and I hate sports, a walk-on athlete in college sports is someone who tries out and joins a team without being recruited or offered an athletic scholarship, so they can still play and participate.
The game. But he never did get to play in a game. So he held short-term jobs with the university's campus recreation and athletics departments and spent a season working in hospitality for the New York Mets.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Peers described him as polite, quiet, and well-dressed.
He was arrested in New York City in 2014, but that case remains sealed, so we don't know what the arrest was about. And between 2010 and 2012, Trey's sister was arrested 3 times, 2 charges of petty theft and 1 for driving on a license that was suspended or revoked.
Between 2011 and 2014, police responded to 5 calls at the Donaldson home, 1 related to juvenile trouble / assault or battery. In 2016, Trey's father unsuccessfully sought a stalking injunction against his daughter's ex-boyfriend. So there's a lot of teen drama and shenanigans going on.
Yeah, and I was going to ask Beth, Okay, I haven't raised teenagers yet. I'm like on my way.
Oh, they're assholes.
I'm on my way.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, they had 3 teenagers, these parents. And so in New York City, like in my head, kids from New York City like do heroin when they're in preschool. That's how like advanced and hardcore
No, that's not true.
From New York
That's
are.
not true.
In my head, like they've already experienced everything. So like I'm just thinking that it's New York. It's like a big city. There's a lot more opportunity.
Trey was the only one in New York though.
Okay. All I am getting at is raising teenagers is hard. These are a lot of shenanigans, and I feel for the parents in this situation.
Yeah.
So that same year, Trey completed a bachelor's degree in sports management. Excellent. Aspiring to become a sports agent. Okay, he has dreams. In early 2017, Trey returned to Tampa and briefly worked at Ultimate Medical Academy before being fired for absenteeism.
He was also giving private athletic coaching to students at his brother's school, although he wasn't an employee and the coaching was done at outside facilities. He later worked at a McDonald's in Ybor City, where coworkers said he didn't fit in.
That might have been challenging to be like working at McDonald's and have a bachelor's degree.
Oh, yeah, have a degree.
Yeah, but this is hustling, right? He's got a side gig. He's got a job that has a steady paycheck. But deputies visited the Donaldson home 4 times after Trey Donaldson moved back in with his parents. But the reason for the calls was redacted by the sheriff's office.
Saturday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Saturday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Saturday. Saturday, bring it on.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, and MLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Friends noticed a change in Trey after college. They said he became more aggressive, particularly during basketball games. An ex-girlfriend once described him as emotionally closed off and poor at communication.
Okay, let's get into the timeline. So, in 2017, in October, on the 9th, around 9 p.m., 22-year-old Benjamin Mitchell, a well-liked musician and student, was waiting at a bus stop on North 15th Street in Seminole Heights when he was shot by a complete stranger.
Benjamin, a full-time student at Hillsborough Community College, had been on his way to visit his girlfriend. He suffered 4 gunshot wounds to the chest, torso, abdomen, and right arm, and died from his injuries. Police recovered 2 SIG brand .40 caliber shell casings at the scene.
Surveillance footage from a nearby residence showed an individual walking east about 8 to 10 minutes before the shooting. Approximately 25 seconds after the shooting, the same surveillance system recorded what seemed to be the same person running west, and a witness who called 911 reported that she saw a black man running westbound away from the scene.
2 days later, on October 11th, 2017, at approximately 8:47 p.m., 32-year-old Monica Hoffa was shot and killed while walking to a friend's house in Seminole Heights. Officers responded to the area after reports of gunfire, just 0.6 miles from the site where Benjamin Mitchell had been murdered. However, Monica's body was not immediately discovered.
When Monica failed to show up for her grandmother's birthday, which was not like her, she was very close to her family became concerned. And despite their worry, they were reportedly told that they had to wait 48 hours before filing a missing persons report.
Early on the morning of Friday, October 13th, Monica's body was found in an overgrown lot. Mm-hmm. And this is horrible. Her father only learned of her death when a reporter called seeking comment.
Oh,
yeah.
Monica had been shot 3 times, once in the neck and twice in the back. Near her body, police recovered 5 fired .40 caliber cartridge casings manufactured by SIG, suggesting the assailant had missed twice and that Monica may have tried to flee. Robbery was ruled out as a motive as she was found with cash and jewelry still on her.
Although both victims were of different ages, genders, and races, Benjamin was black, Monica was white or Latinx, and there appeared to be no pattern, Tampa police tied the cases together due to their close time frame and proximity. The 2 locations were within half a mile of each other in the southeast Seminole Heights area.
Yeah, I imagine this would have been perplexing. And I gathered that from the documentaries and YouTube videos and research that I saw was that they were like, what?
Yeah.
Completely, like, how do you even make a connection to go forward to generate leads to find a suspect, etc.? This is so unusual.
I mean, we've had this happen in Phoenix a couple of times, so
I know, isn't that?
Yeah,
the heat makes people crazy, and they just go. But yes, I do. Yes, you're right. It has happened in Phoenix, and we'll get to this in our How Not to Get Murdered takes. But what is it that makes somebody do this? The third victim, 20-year-old Anthony Naiboa, was killed on October 19th, 2017, at approximately 7:57 p.m., 8 days after Monica Hoffa's death. Anthony, who was autistic, had recently begun a temporary job packing relief supplies for victims of a hurricane in Puerto Rico. That evening, he accidentally boarded the wrong bus, and he ended up in Seminole Heights.
He was shot once in the head and died in the driveway of the same residence where Benjamin Mitchell had been killed. The location was just 0.1 miles from Mitchell's scene and 0.7 miles from where Monica Hoffa was found.
So, we're starting to see a little connection here, at least location-wise. Police recovered a .40 caliber cartridge casing at the scene, manufactured by SIG. Anthony's wallet and keys were found beneath his body, indicating that robbery was likely not a motive.
In early November, Donaldson reached out to an ex-girlfriend from high school, asking for help. Though their romantic relationship had ended years earlier, they had stayed in casual contact through sporadic texts and social media. Now he told her that he had lost his job, was moving back to Tampa, and had nowhere to go. He asked if he could stay with her for a while.
When she asked about his family, Donaldson said he couldn't go home, though he didn't give specifics. Since she still lived with her mother, she asked her mom for permission, and her mom agreed, and Donaldson arrived shortly after driving a red Mustang.
His belongings were packed in garbage bags, and he was wearing a McDonald's uniform. Both the woman and her mother were shocked by the McDonald's uniform, given that he had a college degree. They had expected him to be doing something more professional.
So, in the 90s, there was a commercial, a McDonald's commercial, because McDonald's is heavy in the black community. And Calvin.
That's right.
Calvin got a job at McDonald's and his whole life turned better.
That's right.
His teeth were whiter. Yeah. He had no more body odor. His hair and skin were moisturized. And Calvin was living it up working at McDonald's, and they wanted us all us black youths to believe if we just work at McDonald's, everything is gonna be okay. And none of us believed it. McDonald's. And
except for maybe Howell Emanuel Donaldson III.
No. Howell may have believed it, but his girlfriend's family's reaction of shock.
That is funny.
Do you see? I don't know if culturally people listening know McDonald's told us black people that we could turn our lives around if we get a job at McDonald's, and Howell did it, and the community was shooketh. So anyway, so Donaldson seemed distant and subdued. He told them he was going through some stuff and just needed to get back on his feet and get settled. Believing he was dealing with family issues, the woman and her mother let him stay.
I believe he was dealing with family issues.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it sounds like from what we know, the domestic violence issues
There was definitely something going on after he moved back home because the police were called to his house like 4 times after he returned home. So there's something going on, but we don't know what it was.
And I think good on somebody avoiding problems.
Yeah, or something.
Or something.
Because there were problems, but we'll get into it.
Okay.
Soon after he moved in, the woman began receiving messages from Donaldson's friends, a cousin, and his sister. They were all trying to find him. His sister in particular was concerned. She had recently given birth to a baby boy and hadn't seen or heard from her brother since. The woman relayed this to Donaldson, urging him to reach out.
But he refused. He told her, quote, "I don't need them knowing where I'm at," unquote, asking her not to respond to anyone who contacted her. When she encouraged him to talk to his sister and meet the new baby, he replied that he wasn't, quote, ready to go back there yet, unquote, and that he, quote, just couldn't be in that environment, unquote.
According to the woman, on the evening of Monday, November 13th, Donaldson went to bed early around 8:30 p.m. She recalled waking up later that night to the sound of the dog barking, but she didn't check the time. She assumed Donaldson had left the house.
At some point during the night, her mother also heard the dog barking and later discovered the front door was unlocked. She locked it and returned to bed, unaware that anything was amiss.
The final victim, 60-year-old Ronald Felton, was shot and killed in the early morning hours of November 14th around 4:50 a.m. as he crossed the street. A construction worker and father of 3 adult children, Ronald was also known in his community for his volunteer work at a local food bank.
That morning, he was on his way to meet the pastor at the church to help prepare for a food distribution event serving families in need. And tragically, he never made it. And Ronald's brother talked about how they were all keenly aware, being members of this community, of what was going on. And I recall him saying something about people avoiding the bus. And his brother avoided the bus, was what I gathered, and still met this terrible fate. Ronald was shot 4 times, once in the back, twice in the head, and once in the right hand.
A witness told law enforcement that she saw a black male approximately 6 feet tall with a thin, strong build shoot Ronald and then run away eastbound. Video surveillance from a nearby business showed a single suspect shoot Ronald as he crossed Nebraska Avenue.
His body was found just 0.6 miles from the Benjamin Mitchell scene, 0.3 miles from Monica Hoffa's, and 0.6 miles from Anthony Naiboa's. 4 .40 caliber SIG cartridge casings were recovered at the scene, and his wallet, keys, and cell phone were found nearby.
Around 5 a.m. that morning, Donaldson returned to his ex-girlfriend's home. She recalled hearing the doorbell ring, then overhearing her mother letting him in. She went back to sleep. After that early morning disruption, the family decided that it was time for Donaldson to move out. He was asked to leave the house by Thursday, November 16th.
The last time the woman heard from Donaldson was around Thanksgiving Day when he posted a Snapchat video of himself with his family. So now we will talk about the investigation and the arrest. Hit it, Beth!
A forensic analyst with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement examined all recovered cartridge casings from the 4 scenes and determined that they were fired from the same weapon, a .40 caliber Glock handgun, linking all of the cases together.
Got him! Yeah. And then the case saw a major breakthrough on November 28th, 2017, when a manager at the Ybor City McDonald's alerted police that an employee had given her a firearm for safekeeping and stated that he planned to leave the state. That employee was Howell Donaldson III.
The McDonald's manager told authorities that Donaldson had given her a food bag, told her not to look inside, and said he needed to get money for a one-way plane ticket. He added that he had done something that he couldn't take back.
I mean, did he have to give all that information?
I mean, I feel like he kind of wanted to get caught. You know?
You think? Oh.
I don't know. It's just, if he didn't.
Could it be the Christian guilt coming back to get him?
Maybe. If he didn't, I mean, this is really stupid.
So stupid. That's so what stupid. I thought too.
Yeah.
And now, I guess, yeah.
I mean, you did not have to give anybody that gun.
You could have just put it in the trash
you could have thrown
or put it
in
somewhere.
the bay.
Yeah, this part of the story really, I'm perplexed. I don't know. I don't
think
understand.
You wanted to get caught.
OG of true crime gets it right every time. Or lots of times.
Or not.
And sometimes makes mistakes.
Never.
And also, do not take any medical advice from the OG of true crime. So, Donaldson then left the restaurant and went to obtain a payday loan. Meanwhile, the manager checked the bag and discovered a firearm inside. Now, he told her, hold this for me, don't look inside.
And of course she looked inside.
And then she was a little concerned by that. And so she looked inside. And she approached a police officer who just happened to be at the McDonald's working on some paperwork and informed that officer about the gun, as well as Donaldson's comment about leaving the state.
The officer inspected the bag, confirmed the presence of the weapon, and called for backup shortly before 3 p.m. When Donaldson returned to the restaurant parking lot, officers were already waiting for him.
Oh, no! So the gun was identified as a Glock Model 27, loaded with .40 caliber SIG manufactured ammunition. Donaldson told investigators he bought the Glock and the ammunition from a nearby gun store.
He said he'd started carrying it for protection, but that he gave it to the McDonald's manager to keep it away from his younger brother while he was away because he was planning a trip back to New York. Okay.
Okay, I never had a gun, but I would never put it in a McDonald's bag for storage.
And give it to
or safekeeping
a manager.
Or yep, thank you.
I mean, he didn't even really know the manager either. They barely knew each other.
Yeah, you didn't work there for that long. So.
No.
But Donaldson legally purchased the firearm on October 3rd. And 4 days later, after the mandatory waiting period, he picked it up and purchased the ammunition. The murder of Benjamin Mitchell was the first of 4 victims, and that occurred on October 9th.
A firearms analyst examined the cartridge casings recovered from the scenes and confirmed that they had all been fired from the same Glock.
When police searched Donaldson's car, they found clothing that looked similar to the clothes worn by the subject captured in surveillance video the night Benjamin Mitchell was murdered. And police saw what appeared to be a blood stain on a hoodie.
Investigators also used cell phone location data to place Donaldson near the crime scenes at the times of the killings, further connecting him to the crimes.
Investigators wanted to ask Howell Donaldson Jr. and Rosita Donaldson about things like Donaldson's background, whether he had guns, his state of mind, all of that stuff. But they refused to talk, only giving up names, addresses, and birth dates of family members, which is not unusual for a Black American family who is familiar with the United States of America and its criminal legal system.
Yeah.
No matter what, whether you know he did it or not. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But when they didn't comply with a subpoena, they were put on house arrest and were only allowed to leave their home for employment, medical, and religious reasons. However, they eventually did cooperate and answered the questions and were released from house arrest.
Good. Only because they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And I know that law enforcement does that will like say, we're going to take your children away or we're going to put you in jail if you don't help us. And it's not a tactic I think is good.
It sucks.
It's awful.
Yeah.
And so that's what they chose to do. So the woman who had allowed Donaldson to stay with her in November of 2017 was also interviewed and shown surveillance footage of the man walking and running near the scenes of the murders. When asked for her thoughts, she replied, quote, "I think it's him," unquote.
Got him.
And the difference, I thought the ex-girlfriend, I don't know for sure, but I assumed was not a white person.
I don't think so, but I don't know for sure either.
Okay, I don't know for sure. I'm just assuming. But if it is not a white person, somebody might ask, well, why did his parents not give him up? And why did this other person of color give him up?
They're
his parents. They have more to lose.
Yeah. But also, they probably didn't believe it was him.
Sure. Yeah, that too. But all that to say is that distrust in American law enforcement exists because of the harms that have been done for so long. And so I get it. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now let's get into the trial. What, Beth?
So police arrested Donaldson and charged him with 4 counts of first-degree murder in connection to the murders of Benjamin Mitchell, Monica Hoffa, Anthony Noboa, and Ronald Felton.
He claimed innocence and his parents were supportive of him. His trial was scheduled to begin on August 10th, 2020, but was postponed after a judge granted a defense motion to separate the trials for each victim. So one trial for each individual victim, citing different circumstances surrounding them.
Hank's the family fixer, always with his tool belt. But living with prostate cancer, he needed help. He asked his doctor about Xtandi and enzalutamide. Xtandi 40 milligram tablets treats men with prostate cancer that has spread to other parts of the body and responds to a medical or surgical treatment to lower testosterone. Xtandi may cause serious side effects: seizure, a brain condition called PRESS, allergic reactions, heart disease that can lead to death, falls and bone fractures, swallowing problems, or choking that can lead to death. Stop Xtandi and get medical help at once if your face, tongue, lip, or throat start swelling. Tell your doctor at once if you faint, have a seizure, quickly worsening headache, decreased alertness, confusion, vision problems, chest pain or discomfort, or shortness of breath. Xtandi can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during and 3 months after Xtandi. Common side effects include muscle and joint pain, feeling unusually tired, hot flashes, constipation, less appetite, diarrhea, high blood pressure, bleeding, falls, fractures, and headache. Talk to your doctor and visit Xtandi.com.
If found guilty by a jury, Donaldson could have faced the death penalty. But on May 1st, 2023, Donaldson changed his plea from not guilty to guilty.
Oh.
And he was sentenced to 4 consecutive life terms for his crimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
That's what happened.
Let's get into where are they now?
Okay.
Well, I tell you. After his arrest, Donaldson's profile on the St. John's basketball team website was removed. Bye-bye.
The general manager at the Ybor City McDonald's, who reported the gun to police, received a $110,000 reward for her role in helping catch Donaldson.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for her.
I believe his family is still running their cosmetology school, which I don't want to name, and I didn't want to name his brother and sister either because, why?
I appreciate that. I mean, he did the thing. Right.
Exactly.
So, thank you, Beth, for always striving to do the right thing. She's a good person.
I try.
She's a good one. Me, I'm going to hell. Anyway, let's get into what we think made him snap and our thoughts about the case. What do you got, Beth?
Well, I watched a TV show episode. I think it was like Making a Serial Killer, it was called.
Okay.
It was an episode about this guy.
Okay.
And everyone was saying that his upbringing was really normal and there were no red flags. And I beg to disagree.
Do you? Okay.
Yes. It sounds like his home life was pretty chaotic.
Uh-huh.
And his father may have been abusive given the domestic violence charges.
Right.
There was a lot of different things going on. The financial stuff and
trauma, big T, little T, take your pick.
And then as teenagers, the kids getting in trouble. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And because the family was so religious, it was mentioned like everywhere about how devout these people
source.
Were. Right.
Yeah.
There may have been some negative effects from that.
Sure.
Growing up in a restrictive religious family can negatively impact a child's development.
Yeah.
Leading to potential issues with attachment, self-esteem, and mental health. Mm-hmm. And in any case, it seems like his family did not encourage expressing feelings in a healthy way. And ultimately, I think Donaldson wanted to be a basketball star or work in sports, and his dreams were not coming true. He could not see the future. He could not see how long it would take. It takes a while to build that stuff up.
He was in his early 20s.
Yeah.
Come
he just
on.
couldn't see it.
He just couldn't see it.
And so he gave up, got angry, and for whatever reason decided that shooting people felt good.
Yeah. Yeah. And to the felt good part, his murders were like extra. Like he killed people or shot multiple times.
Yeah.
Not just like he missed. Some of the descriptions of the murders were like he went back to make sure that this person was expired.
Ronald Felton, he shot him and then he like stood over him and shot him again.
Yeah. And I agree with you, Beth. I will say though, while I agree that religion can be so harmful and painful, I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second, it can also be good. So I don't want to not say that. Yeah, and I know you're not saying that. I just know
what I was
for the
saying,
listener,
if it's like a specific kind of religion, and I'm not even saying that that's what happened in his family. I'm just saying it could have happened.
Yeah.
If, specific kinds of religions where they're very restrictive and you can't do this and you can't do that, and if you do that, you're going to hell and you're bad and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, so let's examine this thought, because I felt like the religion kind of is more important than I think we're giving it credit, in that he believed, in my thoughts, this is just my opinion, this prosperity gospel, that if you do the right thing and you serve God and you're a good person and you go to school and you go to church and you don't kill anyone, then you're supposed to get like everything you asked for, everything your heart desires, all the prosperity should come to you because you're a loyal servant to God. Right. And he is maybe raised in this and believing it probably, should be happening. Why isn't it happening? Why isn't it? I guess I'm not good enough. Yeah. Why isn't Elon Musk my neighbor? What's going on? And the gospel's not working. It's not working.
That always really bothered me about the prosperity gospel, because most people, life doesn't work out like that, And so what are you supposed to think? God doesn't love you. No. What else are you going to think?
I mean, just think of it a different way.
I don't believe in the prosperity gospel.
Just wait. You have so much to live for, Beth.
No, not me. I'm just saying, I don't believe in that shit. But if I did, and nothing was working out, I would think that God doesn't love me, and I guess I'm going to hell.
Yeah. But that's the thing is, what I'm getting at is, he didn't get to the end of the story.
Oh, yeah.
He was young. You have to have patience. He was in his 20s and his brain was not fully developed. So maybe he wasn't even capable of seeing or knowing. Yeah. It can get better if you just wait. Just hold on. It gets better.
Just hold on. It does. Yeah.
I mean, he had a degree in sports management. Imagine what he could have. He could have been somewhere much higher than where he is now.
And also the focus on our society, the focus on material things as being
capitalism,
which I don't agree with at all, because success to me is finding something that you love and doing it,
Yeah. Are you alive?
Whether
Can you
it's
smile?
Whether or not that's lucrative is another story. It doesn't matter though. If you have family around you, people that you love, and you're doing things that you love to do. I mean, not all the time, but like the podcast. We love to do the podcast. That makes my life worthwhile. So yeah.
But I also think that you and I, you especially, gosh, I want to fast forward and be where Beth is right now. But you have the benefit of life experience, extra years. And but that's so beautiful and wonderful, because
it does give you a new perspective.
When somebody young comes to you in distress, with your experience that it's not going to be like this forever. And
oh God, I remember my first boyfriend.
Do you remember how?
I remember my first boyfriend breaking up with me, and how devastated I was. And I thought my life was over. And then like 2 months later, I was dating somebody else and super happy. So
right? Is that, when you're in your 20s, I mean, I really thought, just all the things that I thought, like, why aren't I on Broadway yet? Hello. But I understand having dreams, and I understand being young. And I'll get to this in the How Not to Get Murdered takes about, mental health and fortitude. But I just think the Christianity could have been used in a better way.
Yeah, for sure.
For him, right? Like he was raised with these values of, well, I mean, the first commandment isn't it don't kill? Isn't that one of the rules?
That is one of the big ones.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It's
and
a big
when
one,
you're a kid and you are raised in the church, you know, thou shalt not kill. Got it. But Christianity can also be a way to cope. And me personally, he had 2 Black parents of the same generation as mine. Black parents who their parents may have been raised in segregation, and we are good people. We are middle class. We're living we are regular Americans. We just happen to be Black, but we are regular Americans, and just sort of stressing this success mindset. And we talked about how there might have been abuse in the home, and in the Black community, maybe even the church and its teachings might not see their beliefs as abusive or harmful, but teachings like spare the rod, spoil the child, or about, you know, shit like how the man is the head of the household.
Pillory.
Yeah, like those things. Wait, did you spare the pillory?
Spare the pillory, spoil the child.
now that I know what pillory means, that's hilarious. But Christianity can sometimes look good and wholesome, but behind the scenes, Christian homes, like any other homes, can have problems because Christians are people and people are fucked up.
Yeah.
And I thought about the prosperity gospel. You do good. It's supposed to pay dividends, but Donaldson did all those things and he wasn't getting none of the dividends. And he was frustrated. And it just seemed like it got a little bit worse after that frustration, you know, the girlfriend thing and the not having a house thing and the job thing and sort of the humiliation of now I'm Calvin from McDonald's, but I have a degree. And so just feeling defeated. And I think all those things got to him, and without a support system or coping skills or the ability to see that bad things happening in my young life will not last always.
Yeah.
Trouble don't last always, but joy cometh in the morning. Amen. I mean, if somebody would have just got on the phone and told him that, like, I just wonder. But all that said, it just doesn't make any sense because he was in pain, and if it had waited or changed or waited for things to get better, you know, he did something permanent to the existence of other humans and their loved ones. And it's really sad because his feelings of inadequacy were temporary.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with the people who have been left in the wake of this case. My research led me to believe that it was a really wonderful community, idyllic. And this is awful. They did not deserve this. And lastly, rest in power to the victims, Benjamin Mitchell, Monica Hoffa, Anthony Naiboa, and Ronald Felton. And just sending our thoughts and healing energy to the community of Seminole Heights and everyone who knew and loved these victims and everyone who was impacted by this 51-day saga.
Yeah.
So let's get into how not to get murdered.
Okay.
Also, let us know what you thought of the case. Your takes. If you love true crime and you don't want to die, here's a tip for you. Ooh. Yo!
This segment is not intended to be victim blaming. We thought of this segment because I read somewhere that a lot of people listen to true crime because they want to know what they can do to be safer. This is not meant to blame the victims. It's just learning from other people's experiences.
So, welcome here. How can you stay safe in the presence of a spree shooter, you ask? Well,
yes.
I don't have the exact right answer for you.
Okay.
I would like you to know that. But my thoughts are that what the community did, at least what I am aware of, did a lot of the things right. It took 51 days to catch this guy, but in that time, the community was being informed by the officials and the journalists.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
It is nice. It seemed like everybody was pretty informed. It seemed to me that people were paying attention to the warnings, and an old and tired tip that we have is head on a swivel and to trust your instincts, trust your gut. But one of the questions I had personally was like, well, how do you prevent somebody from going on a spree killing?
Yeah.
Because that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
That's the root of this.
That is the root of everything. Yeah.
Amen. So just thinking of individuals who lack coping skills and, can harm others by not knowing how to deal And all of us, at some point, I think, can be helped with mental health support, including crisis intervention. Do not forget about 988, y'all. If you personally or somebody next to you or you care about is in crisis, then you should take advantage of resources like that are available to you. Remember, there were people in Donaldson's life who were, I think, people who said, he's a little off. When they were shocked by the McDonald's thing, I think, people noticed that things were different. So
yeah, when he came back from college, they were like, yeah, he's different. He's a little angry.
Off. Yeah. And also address social isolation and promote healthy masculinity. We want no more incels.
Yeah, no more incels.
So we want to address that social isolation and promote healthy masculinity and challenge toxic masculinity when we see it and encourage emotional literacy when we can. So
yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are, I think, maybe not as specific as I might like. Like, you can't go buy a taser. I did not give any taser tips today. But
no taser tips.
Hopefully you appreciate them, because I did think a lot about them. So,
all right.
Now let's get into the shout out section of our show, where we shout out any content by people of color, or about people of color, or any marginalized folks, or true crime goodies. I wanted to shout out Move, Untangling the Tragedy, and it's a podcast. And it is wherever you get podcasts. It's a history true crime podcast about the Move bombing in Philadelphia in 1985. It was on TV, y'all. They bombed a whole house of people and killed 11 people, including 5 children. And after the city officials said, let it burn,
Jesus Christ,
nobody went to jail or anything. So it is fascinating. I don't think it's finished. I listened to 4 episodes today, and it's made by Temple University and the Philadelphia Inquirer, who were at the scene when the bomb was dropped. And racist historic true crime is just so fascinating to me. Maybe it is to you too. So
yeah, it is.
There you go. What do you got, Beth?
Well, I just wanted to say that, because I didn't really have any shout outs, but The New Abnormal is one of my favorite podcasts.
Oh.
And it's now going to be the Daily Beast podcast.
Oh.
And Danielle Moody and Andy Levy, who were hosting The New Abnormal, are now hosting a new podcast called As the World Churns, and it's very similar to The New Abnormal, so I guess it's my new favorite podcast.
Oh, is it like a news download, or
it's
everything?
It's commentary. You've never listened to The New Abnormal?
No.
Okay.
No, I know nothing.
So it's political, I guess.
Okay. Does it make you laugh?
Yeah, they're funny, but they talk about the news, what's going on. They bitch about Trump. My favorite segment is like the last segment they do called Fuck That Guy.
Wait. Wow.
Yeah.
That really don't hold back. Okay.
I can't believe you've never listened to it.
This reminds me of when we were talking about this kind of thing 8 years ago and why we started the whole show. I can't believe you don't listen to this. And
well, I guess I shouldn't say that, because
it's been a long time
trying not to listen to political stuff. So
I have been, but I trust your judgment, and so I am going to subscribe to this one and add it to the queue.
Well, Danielle Moody is a black lady too, so.
Why did you start with that?
I should have started with that one. Yeah.
Because I'm rooting for everybody black, and you don't have to say anything else. Okay. I'm in.
Enjoy. It's called As the World Churns.
Okay, got it. So just to recap, our shout outs are Move, Untangling the Tragedy, a history and true crime podcast wherever you get your podcast, as well as another podcast that Beth enjoys and Wendy is sure to enjoy. You know why. The As the World Churns podcast wherever you get your podcast. And if you missed any of that stuff, it'll be in the show notes.
Yeah.
All right, Beth, where can the people find us?
Our website is fruitloopspod.com, and we use Fruit Loops Pod for all of our social media. The footnotes for each episode can be found on our website. Plus, check it out for the different ways that you can support the show. You can also join us on Patreon, where we have hundreds of hours of bonus content. You can also support us by supporting our sponsors, or by giving us a 5-star review.
5 stars only, please.
Don't forget to subscribe.
That's right. Now, this is a weekly podcast and episodes drop on Thursdays. So until next time, look alive, y'all. It's crazy out there. Ooh, and it's showtime.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire. She gets me every time. Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
In a neighborhood in, let me start this over again.
No problem. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to... Sorry, it's a fruit fly. I just swung at him. I didn't get him.
Sorry, I read that weird.
Anyway, true crime. In 2002, the couple... and I'm still having my communication problems, girl, so forgive me.
Oh, wait. Yeah, but they weren't in...
They weren't in
North
Florida,
Carolina.
but I'm just saying it's not that far.
They weren't in North Carolina.
Wait.
They were in Florida.
Oh, that's right. Okay, never mind.
Scratch all that.
Shh, forget every word I just said. Okay, so approximately 25 minutes after the shooting,
Seconds. 32-year-old Monica.
You're doing it too.
32-old. Yeah. Too old. Yeah.
Now I'm also trying to stall because I completely lost my place. Okay. Anthony, I just was gonna say nothing. Go ahead. I stopped my brush. I stopped myself. Turned my brain off. That morning, he was on his... Wait, I already read that. Anyway,
Yeah.
now he told her, hold
Not
this
to
for
look
me.
at the back.
Don't look inside.
Don't look inside.
And,
of course she looked inside.
And then she was a little concerned by that. And so she looked inside. Oh, no. OG of True Crime gets it right every time. Or lots of times.
Or not.
And sometimes makes mistakes.
Never.
And also, do not take any medical advice from the OG of True Crime. So...
Like, I don't want to say that. That's repetitive. Okay.
What's the word? Redundant.
Redundant, yes.
My mom used to say that a lot.
So just...
I was going to do Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Donaldson is currently serving his term at Avon Park Correctional Institution in Polk County, Florida. I lost my train of thought. Forget everything I said. Let me go back to my notes. So, what did I say?
Spare the pillory.
Yeah, like those things. Wait, did you spare the
I said
pillory?
Spare the pillory, spoil the child.
now that I know what pillory means, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Trouble don't last always, but joy cometh in the morning. Amen.
All right.
All right, we did it, friend.
Hooray.
Hooray. I'll get this in the drive maybe tonight. Oh, gosh, the internet did not fail us tonight, and that is such a blessing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Minnie, for... Minnie?
Yeah, thanks, Minnie.
Minnie.
Thanks, Minnie.
For editing our show. And... is there another? Do we have something on the calendar? Girl, enjoy Mother's Day. Don't talk to me till Monday.
Okay.
Enjoy your
good.
weekend. Get lots of rest, okay?
All right, you too.
Okay, love you. Bye.
All right, love you too. Bye.